What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. Now, with this video, we're going to be jumping into the Infinite Frontier with Green Lantern issue number 6. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with this line, go ahead and check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything that has been going on with the Green Lantern line. And a couple of days ago, we covered Jessica Cruz' Yellow Lantern. And while Jessica Cruz is deciding her fate, deciding if she wants to be a Yellow Lantern or not, we have a young Kelly who made her way to the Sinestro Corps homeworld. And with this possibly being an act of war, Joe and the United Planets are currently on their way to rescue her. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into issue number 6, we're picking up with Joe, currently replaying all the battles that Hal Jordan and everybody has ever had with Sinestro, seeing how he operates, how he works. Because this is somebody she's never met, she's never gone against, being relatively new to the Green Lantern Corps, and being one of the few individuals left alive that has a working Green Lantern ring. She believes it is up to her to go rescue Kelly. And as it stands, the United Planets, they are not happy about this. They are not happy that Kelly went out on her own, decided to try to essentially start a war with the Sinestro Corps. But Joe firmly believes that Kelly is just being a child on a rampage. That if they can get there in time, if they can subdue her, kind of calm down Sinestro, make sure that he doesn't overreact to the situation, they may be able to de-escalate things. And with Simon no longer having the power of the Green Lantern ring, they have devised a new way for him to help everybody out. And that comes in the form of a Green Lantern mech suit. Climbing into this suit and then hopping into what appears to be a pod. Now this pod is to get him to the surface. Now this is meant to protect him from entry and so on and so forth. But it has some unique properties. And those properties is it can be charged up by a Green Lantern ring. This charge gives it that extra added layer of protection. And with it being charged up, Joe picks it up and they head out. And as our Green Lanterns descend from the heavens, as they get closer to the ground, this is where they see a light construct of John Stewart, immediately realizing that that is freaking Kelly down there. And as they are making their descent, this is when 5 Yellow Lanterns come on their tail. Realizing that they need to split up in this situation, Joe decides that she is going to take on the 5 Lanterns and Simon is going to be sent down to take care of Kelly. And we saw that transpire in issue number 5. And with Joe launching Simon down to the ground, we see a light construct looking like a freaking Gundam, and she attacks all 5 Lanterns. As light constructs completely surround them, they realize that they are getting trapped into a box. This box is a pentaract, a box made of folded space-time. And so from their point of view, it will literally take them centuries to be able to escape this box. And with these 5 Lanterns being taken out, this gives Joe the opportunity to go face to face with Sinestro. Now Sinestro, seeing this, being, relatively impressed with her abilities. But this is a Green Lantern that he is not familiar with. It's one that he has never met. And he finds her very peculiar because she appears to be the last Green Lantern, with her ring not needing to be charged by the central battery. An innovation that Sinestro says is long overdue when it comes to their rings. And of course, Sinestro is going to take this opportunity to probe, to find out where the Guardians might be, why they're not active, why they have been laying low. And of course, Joe isn't going to divulge this information to him, but she came here for Kelly. And at first, Sinestro thinks this might be something to test his defenses, but Joe reassures him that it's not that she is simply a little girl who is on a rampage right now, believing that Sinestro and the Sinestro Corps are responsible for the destruction of the central battery. This is her acting out. And so the only thing Joe is really wanting here is to be able to take her people and leave. But before that can happen, Sinestro wants to continue probing her mind to find out exactly what she knows about Sinestro, what she knows about the Corps, so on and so forth. And everything she knows is really just from reputation, from everything that he has done, from all of the history logs in the Green Lantern books. And while Sinestro, he can't deny a good part of his history, at the end of the day, what he wants to do here is fill the gaps where this vacancy is now lying. With the Green Lantern Corps no longer in operation, Sinestro believes that it is now his duty to pick up as the police, the protectors of the universe. And with him weaseling his way into the United Planets, as it stands, it will only be a matter of time before this becomes fruition, before this becomes a reality. And so with all of that being said, we see Joe, we see Simon, and we see Kelly all take off. And as she goes to make her exit, Sinestro lets her know that the day that ring stops working, there will be a yellow lantern ring waiting for her. And more than anything, Sinestro is finally getting what he actually wants. And that's the Sinestro Corps to have the absolute power, to be the protectors of the universe. With the Green Lantern Corps now out of the way, with the Guardians no longer on the radar, there is currently a power vacuum sitting in the entire universe. And if that space is not filled, if that vacuum is not plugged up, we could see an intergalactic war on such a grand scale. And so out of desire and necessity, the Sinestro Corps is stepping up to take the place of the Green Lantern Corps. Now this is what's going to pick us up with Kilowog. With all of them being sent out to do their missions, Kilowog ended up on a planet. But when he arrived on this planet, after the loss of his Green Lantern ring, these portals opened up here. With these gateways opening up, all of the populace in those worlds appearing to be under some kind of mind control, they all line in rank and file. One by one, they walk into this. These winged creatures saying that they are now servants of the Lightbringer, and that they are now all one. Essentially turning these people into freaking cattle. There was no more fight in them. There was no more resistance, nothing. Complete and utter obedience. The only issue is, a handful of the locals, they were immune to this. Not knowing why, not understanding any of the science behind it. The invaders not liking this one freaking bit. They turned people on one another. Those that did not converge, they turned and started murdering each other. Kilowog and his comrade barely being able to make it out alive, now bunkered down, hiding out, letting the Green Lanterns know that if they don't get here soon, if they don't get here in the next couple of days, this will be the end of Kilowog. Now, realizing that the dire situation that they have come upon, Kins immediately goes to suit up. Being the head of the rescue missions, running at least 60 rescue missions, saving 21 lanterns, and confirming that at least 95 of them have died. On top of all of this, Green Lanterns now have a bounty sitting on top of their head, and they don't know much about the region that they are currently in. Now, the Surgelons, they kept themselves pretty isolated from everybody else, and this was probably one of the best things they could do, especially to help their survival, because the Dark Sector, it really is a very chaotic region, and as it stands, it is still suffering from the war that happened probably over a century ago. And of course, John Stewart, he's very familiar with this, because he knows this to be the barrier war that they had talked about. Though a century doesn't sound right to him, there seems to be something going on with space-time in the Dark Sector. With the barrier going up, it trapped everybody inside, and they started killing one another. And before they knew it, a century had gone by. And after the war, this place broke into factions, with slavers and tyrants alike. And now what are they going to do? The Green Lantern Corps, their numbers vastly cut, no longer being attached to their power, no longer having the ability to do half of the stuff they could before. Not only that, they have no backup if they get into something that is extremely hairy. But as it stands, they have a Green Lantern lost out there. They need to go rescue Kilowog. they have his signal, they have the location of the planet he is on. And so the plan is to go down there and rescue Kilowog and anybody else they can find. And as they study these transmat gates a little bit more, they're finding out that these gates, they closely resemble boom tubes. And it appears that a lot of this local tech, it's derived from New Genesis. But as it stands, they have no intel on who these invaders are. But this is when Sakari chimes in, saying that she knows who these individuals are. Because of her species, because of her people's anatomy, what they do is they can pass down memories that they can essentially relive in the moment, like a live action freaking movie or some very deep dive virtual reality. And with her little tentacles, she's able to share these memories. Now, Jon Stewart, he's not of her species, so there's only a limited amount of time she can actually do this to him without it frying his brain. Telling him that this has to be the last time she does this, she shows him the Barrier War battle, when her people were fighting for their lives. Not understanding who put up the barrier wall, everybody thought everybody else did it. And so as the Great Barrier War unfolds, as the people slaughter themselves, we see these golden boom tubes open up. And from these tubes, we see the Gold Centurions, the servants of the Lightbringer, calling themselves the Bringers of Peace. That's exactly what they brought, but in a very different way. Because upon their arrival, as these golden angels float down from what appears to be the heavens, all of the populace drops their weapons. Everybody stops fighting, or at least the majority of people. And they get in rank and file, they line up, and they start walking into the boom tube. And those individuals left standing, those individuals left untainted and uncontrolled, they start turning on each other as well. And this is where her memories get a little hazy. Not sure exactly what happens or why she can't remember exactly how everybody else did. This is what awaits her on that planet. And she begs Jon Stewart not to go, that if he is to go, he will not return. Of course, Jon Stewart turning her down, saying that he needs to go, he has to go. She wishes him farewell and says that she will tell her daughter that he is no longer alive. And so with our Green Lanterns loading up on the ship, getting ready to make their launch, this is when Jon Stewart is finally fed up with something that he has been recognizing and seeing. Nobody else seeing him, nobody else recognizing this, Jon Stewart randomly attacks somebody inside of the shuttle. Grabbing this individual, Jon Stewart asks him why he is being followed, saying that he was on Oa. He was on the planet he was just on, and now he is here. And he tells Jon Stewart that his name is Lunar. He is from New Genesis, and he has come to watch Jon Stewart either save the universe or destroy it all. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, Lunar is definitely something that we have been expecting for quite some time now. We saw him having his part in the Future State event, and so it was just a matter of time before he made his arrival. And I know a lot of people weren't too excited with the idea of Green Lanterns no longer having Green Lantern rings. And I, for one, was one of those individuals. But I do enjoy these really wacky and crazy, just out in the middle of nowhere space adventures that we are currently seeing. It's kind of playing out like Star Trek almost. Because now the Green Lanterns, cut off from most communication, being out in this dark sector of the universe, they are having to fend for themselves. But even in that, they are still Green Lanterns. They still have a job to do. They still uphold the oath. And so even in darkest night, our Green Lanterns are shining bright. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. And until the next breakdown.